Hi, my name is Lizette Ponce. I am a fourth grade teacher, and I'm going to go over my curricular creation assignment. And I decided to use an ELA lesson and to go over the unit essential question for that week is how can the world around us help animals survive in their environment? And this is all based on the curriculum and the unit guide of the school district in which I work for. And so the first resource that I decided to utilize is from the actual unit guide provided by the school district is a news ELA article titled To a Yellow-Billed Oxpecker, a Giraffe's Armpit is a Cozy Bed. And so this offers a volume of reading for our students because by this point, towards the end of the week when I would utilize this article, um, students have already read two stories about the relationship between, again, to pose that question, how animals survive in their environment. And so how they use the world and how they use later on in the week, we also talk about how they use each other. And so the article prompts students to just think about the weekly essential question and just to have more ideas and again the volume of what we're learning about for that week. I consider it reliable and credible because it's information from National Geographic Society. Not just that, but it's also, like I said, approved by the school district and accessible to all students. Um, I would use the article, like I mentioned, towards the end of the week, and it would be an opportunity for students to, again, deepen their knowledge. Some questions that I would pose would be, how does the relationship between the oxpecker and the giraffe show that living things depend on each other? And do you think the giraffe or buffalo could survive without the oxpecker? And so you think that maybe a little bird would not offer a lot to the buffalo or the giraffe, but it's always interesting to just get students thinking about those kinds of relationships. The next resource would be a video. It's a symbiotic species video. And the reason why I also chose this one is because, again, it's provided by the school district. It's approved already. The video is by Everything Science, and it's a popular YouTube page that makes videos that are kid-friendly and factual. And again, we're building knowledge that supports into the weekly essential question. So the goal is for the students to be able to answer that prompt. And it poses kids to think about animals and how they can, again, survive in their environment using each other. The video is really cool because it goes over like from the deep sea, and then it talks about the African savanna. So it offers a variety of animal partnerships. And it even goes over symbiotic relationships, which I'm also tying in with another video as well to support that vocabulary. And this would be used before before reading both stories, just because it's important for students to be able to ignite that prior knowledge before even reading or be introduced to the vocabulary. Resource number three, it's also a YouTube video. It's also provided by the school district, but it's by the National Geographic. And I think it's even more reliable because of that, just because of how known the National Geographic is and providing science and exploration and adventure. And they have world-class scientists and the photography in the video. And again, it would be used to build prior knowledge with the students. It would pose the question about why is the Great Barrier Reef important, or most importantly, what is the Great Barrier Reef, right? Because oftentimes our students don't come in with that prior knowledge of what the Great Barrier Reef is. And so it's our jobs to be able to provide them with that knowledge prior to the reading. Again, this video would be in hope to support students in the vocabulary prior to the readings of the week. Resource number four is another video. So these videos would be done like, for example, one Monday, one Tuesday, one Wednesday. And so this video is also from the building knowledge column in the lesson guide provided by the district. This video is Maddie Moat, and she's explaining the three symbiotic relationships that exist in the animal kingdom. It's by BBC Earth Explore. And so, like I said prior, when we went over the National Geographic, they're well known, it's credible, it's provided by the district, and they're just in a fun way investigating relationships about animals. And it's really cool to see kids get excited about these videos because then they're more engaged in the reading. And that's really important to be able to engage students prior to the reading, prompt them with that vocabulary, prompt them with those questions, those wonderings, or what did you notice about the video, so that they can make those relationships as we are reading. The last resource is another source of volume reading, and it's titled Symbiosis. So it's very simple. Very similar to the Extreme Animals Relationships. And so, again, this would be done towards the end of the week. It's used to support students thinking about the essential question and be able to relate the question to the reading. The article itself is reliable and credible. It's provided by the National Geographic. I would use the article, like I mentioned, toward the end of the week. It can even be the option between this one and the other article that I previously mentioned. And again, I would post students with questions here. How do changes to like one living thing to other living things in its environment? Why is it important for living things to stay in balance with their environment? And they can always tie that into the readings as well. And so those were my 5 different resources that I would provide to students with during this lesson. And most of them came from the unit guide, which is awesome. It just shows that the school district is aware of the importance of prior knowledge, and they're aware of the significance of igniting those conversations, building the vocabulary, especially when considering our English language learners and making sure that they have that vocabulary prior to the reading, just to set not just them for success, but all students for success. Thank you so much.